today we're talking about 6 principles of the good brand storytelling, and these are applicable to personal branding and to business branding. All the 6 principles meant to build connection between you and your customers so that they can trust you, they can believe in your story, they can resonate with your story, and therefore you sell more of your products, more of your services, and therefore it's really helpful for you to build long-term relationships with your potential customers. So let's talk about 6 principles of brand storytelling. The first and most important principle is to know your own story. Telling the story from the open wounds can be a big problem. Many times people share the stories and they start complaining. They start telling a lot of unnecessary facts which are not helping your customers or viewers to resonate with your story because they see that you are still struggling. Transformational story, on the other hand, speaks from the scars. So you are healed already. You already get the wisdom and you know what to tell to your viewers. You've been through the transformation. This transformation gives you an idea, and that's how you build your solution. Perhaps you've been in this pain with your customers, so you help some people to achieve certain results. So in any case, good story, your own story, is a transformational story. So not every story meant equal, and I would recommend you to read my blog about storytelling, and that will help you to understand why some stories work better than others. However, the main principle of your own story: speak from the scars, not from the open wounds. Tell the wisdom, show the transformation. Tell your customers emotionally and powerfully how did you move from the point A to point B, what kind of wisdom did you get, how much struggle did you have, why the struggle was transformational. All these are good elements of the powerful personal branding storytelling or business storytelling in this case. The second principle: you need to know your audience. Your audience may love your story or may just ignore it. So how to build the story which will resonate with your audience? Well, when your customers recognize themselves in your story, when they feel something about that, when they can feel that you are passionate about this, when they see that the transformation which you share is the one which they are looking for, this is when your brand storytelling works. So your story resonates with people on the emotional level. So your emotions have to be relevant. Your emotions need to help people to understand that this story is just right story for them. They're like, oh, that's where I want to be. Oh, that's exactly what I feel. Oh, I need to go through this. So this emotional recognition will help people to connect with you. And when you will share something about your experiences, you will also show them the proof that it is possible for them to go through the struggle and achieve what they want. That's why you need to listen to your customers. You need to talk to them to understand how they call their pain, how they call their dreams, how they identify their struggles. So that's why you can use these words to describe your story, and therefore they recognize it. Because here is the thing, many people have the same problems which you had, but they describe it differently. It doesn't mean that you need to tell your story different. It means that you can use the words which will be recognizable and relevant to your audience, and it will help them to understand you better and connect with your story as a result. The third principle of a good brand storytelling is to know what do you want to achieve with the story. The thing is, if you don't know what you want to achieve with the story, you will fail. And you will have one brand narrative, which is based on your values, which is based on that what you stand for, which is based on your transformation. However, you might have many different stories, and each story will have different purpose. In fact, you can have a long story, which is consist of the smaller stories within. Now, some stories might lead to the trust building. Some stories might be conversational stories, like before after stories. Some stories will just help people to understand what do they need to go through to achieve certain results, just to test the water, to understand if you are the right person for them. So you need to understand what is a goal which you have with the story. Why do you tell the story? Not just to share everything around. This is the biggest mistake many people do. They just share all their dirty laundry, open all the shelves and show the skeleton, and they share all the transparency, and it leads nowhere, because for your business, for your personal brand, only the stories which will resonate with your customers will work. Other stories you can keep to your family and your friends, so they will not be your brand stories. The fourth important principle is to build the journey. Joseph Campbell speaks about hero journey storytelling, which is an amazing way how you can understand how your story on the circle and the story of your customers are resonable. So I usually teach in my programs Personal Branding Mastery and Visibility Gym how to build the story from your video marketing perspective or from your personal brand perspective. And we usually look at this from the perspective of the story which you achieve and where your customers want to be. So when you understand where your customer at the specific moment when they hear your story, it will help you to give them right inputs. Giving you an example, in the hero journey storytelling of Joseph Campbell, at the point one, they receive the call for adventure, but then they refuse the call for adventure. Majority of the expert telling their story in exact this moment. They're like, hey, you have a problem, let me tell you the story. And guess what? They refuse the adventure. They are not on the journey yet, which means you can educate them for eternity in this point. So knowing when to tell the story, how to tell the story, what to tell and what not to tell is crucial. Build the journey for your customers with your stories so that they can be involved. Imagine this, you can watch something in 30 minutes and get the story. It will be squeezed, it will be narrow, and probably you will miss the whole plot. But imagine the good series of 7 or 6 interesting stories which building the narrative and captivate people attention. So look at this from the perspective of the short series. When you involve people gradually in the story, in this journey, so by the end of the 6th series, they not only trust you, but they want to work with you. The fifth very important point for brand storytelling is closing the knowledge gap. That's a very important term which is usually used for experts who tell the story but never reach customers' ears. So how that happen? For example, on the scale between 1 to 10, you know your story, you know your expertise on a level of 10. So you go down to explain this story to your customers who don't know much about your expertise. So they learn something, they kind of look a few videos on YouTube, and therefore they know the subject on a level of 3 from the 1 to 10 scale. And you try to explain them this way below of your knowledge, which is 10. So you explain them it on a level of 7. And between 7 to 3, there are many points which your customers missed. So when they hear the story on the level of 7, they probably resonate with that emotional, but they have no clue why did you tell them this story. So you know that you can help them, but they don't know because they don't resonate with that. Giving you an example, most of the advertising agency using tons of unnecessary jargon. Like, all of this jargon is not needed. It's just to show that their ego is so big and they know all this unnecessary jargon and can speak the way you don't understand them. Now, if you will ask them to explain this in a normal human language, most of them won't be able to do it. 99% of people in the big agencies not capable to explain advertising or branding in the normal human language. Why so? Because they receive this narrative, they learn this narrative, they're proud of this narrative. But with a knowledge gap, you most likely won't even hire them because they can't explain it in a normal human language. So in this situation, many experts counting that they will show their expertise through the jargon words, and people will see that, oh, these people know that much, we need to hire them. However, for majority of the healthy people, when they hear unknown words, it means that, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. Most likely I will not hire them because I have no clue what they're going to deliver. So if you don't want to be like these agencies, you need to speak on your customer language. For that, again, back to the point number 2, you need to listen to your customers more. You need to understand what language do they use, what words do they use, what is more comfortable for them, and ask feedback. All the time, ask for feedback. Talk with your customers. Ask them what did they understand? What do they want to know? Are you on the same page with them? So this healthy dialogue will help you to deliver the story on a best possible level. And now the last point, which is really important, is call to action. Imagine this, you build your story, you tell your story, you put everything right. You research your customers, your story resonates on emotional level, you build the storytelling series so people are absolutely involved and they want more. Your story actually worked. They want to continue with you. They want to buy from you. Now, there are plenty of experts who don't bother to add call to action. They believe that your customers after that will check your site, or they will look for your blog, or they will Google you. Guess what? They won't. They won't do it because there are plenty people who do the same storytelling about their product, and they are not necessarily your competitors. They might sell completely different things, but the attention of your customers is spread to a million different things. So if you don't have a clear call to action which goes from point 1 to point B, and you tell them, now when you watch the series, please do something so that we can connect more. And I can absolutely recommend you now to download my 30 ways to increase your personal brand awareness checklist to see what kind of offers you can give them, how you can connect with them better for free. You can just invite them for a call. You can offer them a mini course or some lead magnet or something like this. These are just a few points from this list. So think about what is the next step for your customers so that they just fall in love with you. Now they want to continue with you. Give them call to action. Invite them. I hope you love this video, and if you do, please subscribe and hit notification button because we will have more videos like this. I hope you enjoyed the brand storytelling video. I will share more tips and ideas about personal branding and brand building with you on this channel, and I will ask you to do a few things. Please recommend this channel to your friends if you found it useful. Share this video with your friends or students if you find it interesting. Ask your questions in the comments below because I would like to know what would you like to hear from me about personal branding, marketing, or video, or maybe you have some questions. I would like to answer your questions with the video on this channel. Join the community and I will be happy to see you in my next video.